family vlog. My name is Jay and this is Amy, and we want to thank you for checking in with us here on Tuesday as we return with another episode of the family vlog. If you're just joining us for the very first time, we want you to know a little bit about us. We are just husband and wife raising a family. We've been married for 20 years. Almost. Well, this year we'll be married for 20 years. I'm getting a little anxious because it really is the 20th. But we are raising 5 kids, and we've got them from teenage all the way down to 7 years old. And we do the vlog every Tuesday, just sharing some of the things that we are learning as we walk through this journey of marriage and of family and of being in full-time ministry. So thanks for tuning in and deciding to watch the vlog with us today. We have a topic that we want to talk about today that's kind of personal for us. Many of you have been following our family vlog, and you know that just before Christmas, at about 17 weeks, we lost a child. We were pregnant. We were excited for that child. We were excited to be pregnant. We were excited for what God was doing. And then very much out of nowhere, very much a surprise to us, Amy went in for an appointment, just a regular checkup, and there was no heartbeat, and that led to a scan, and that showed that we had lost the baby. So today we were thinking about what topic we would like to talk about, and Amy said, well, let's talk about dealing with loss and grief, especially as it pertains to a miscarriage, because I think that's something, while we kind of thought, hey, let's just get the D&C, let's move on, let's get on with life. I think we're realizing there's a lot more to that emotionally and physically and spiritually than we realize.
And we are still walking through it right now. It's not like, I mean, it's been almost 3 weeks, but there's a lot more to it than just doing that and moving on like I had hoped. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've experienced miscarriages before, but they've always happened on either the 8-week or before the 8-week, and you know that it's there, but for some reason there's not an attachment.
Not as much. Yeah.
Not as much.
Yeah.
And I think for this time, I mean, we heard the heartbeat. We saw a scan, a sonogram of it moving just before Christmas, and it was one of those things we just thought, wow, this is going to happen. We're going to have another one. And so now we don't, and now the realities of that, I think, are still coming to us. So we want to talk about that today and just kind of share some of the things that we're dealing with still. Like Amy said, 3 weeks out, we're still walking through this. And I think both of us, we've processed this differently. And so why don't you share a little bit about this and how you're processing it, and then I'll share a little bit my perspective and how I'm processing through all of this.
Well, so I have good days and bad days. I have good moments and bad moments. And it's interesting because people will be like, how are you doing? And for the most part, I'm fine. And then when I'm home, there are different things that'll happen, and it'll just hit me, and or I'll just have feelings of just loss and sadness and darkness, and so I think I'm handling it okay, but then there's moments when I'm like, I'm not handling it very well at all. But for me, this is more of a kind of an end of an era, and I think that's dealing with the loss of the baby is awful, and I'm dealing with that and walking through that. But I think more for me, it's that, okay, well, we're probably done the childbearing stage, and while that's okay, like we're okay with that, we're okay with moving on. It ends an era for me of being home with kids and really fulfilling my calling that way. And so I'm in a stage of, okay, so what is my calling now? Is it still that? Is it still, and so there's a lot of, I think, sadness there because of that, because not only is there a loss when I walk around and think, oh, I'm pregnant. Oh, no, I'm not. Like, there's nothing inside of me anymore. And so that's just a weird feeling in itself. And and then to just walk through like, okay, so what does this mean for me now? Because we've always lived our lives counterculturally. We've tried to anyway, in that it's not about money to us. It's about raising our family to honor the Lord, and so we've made a lot of sacrifices that way to allow me to be home. And yet there's still enough for me to do on a day-to-day basis to stay home and take care of everybody and do the things that we want to do, even though they're all at school. But there's that cultural pressure to like, you know, go be double income and go, you know, all this kind of stuff. And so, so I'm really wrestling through that, and what that looks like in the midst of wrestling through losing a baby and grieving that baby and grieving it in a healthy way, you know, which I'm not really sure what that even is. So
right. Well, and I was saying as I'm listening to you, it's like, you know, your identity for so long has been as a mom. Yeah. Not that that's changed, but what that looks like for who you are is beginning to change. Yeah. And I wonder, I mean, we never had a miscarriage before. We had 5 healthy births. Yeah. 5 healthy pregnancies, 5 healthy births. Yeah. And it was great. And you know, that was wonderful. And so then came the miscarriages, and there were 3 over a course of 3 years, and then this one, which we thought was going to stick. Right. You know, so as I'm listening, what I'm hearing is, you know, your identity as being the mother now is shifting because, you know, now we're not in that place where we can just easily have more kids. I mean, we can, but we're in our 40s. Right. It's a lot harder. It's more what do they say at the hospital? It's higher risk than. And
the bottom line is we're not like. We have to have another kid.
No, we're not.
You know,
we're
even
totally with this
blessed.
one, we didn't say.
We feel completely blessed that we have what we have. Yeah. And so please don't take it that we're whining that we're not having another kid, because that's not it. It's just that move that when you move on that stage of life, you're just like, okay, now what?
It is. It's you know, you talk about, you know, life changes, and you know, you finish a chapter, you start a new chapter, and at some regards, we've now got to close the book because the realization that maybe we don't have any more natural birth kids is a reality, and I think that's hard. Yeah. And as I process this, you know, one of the things that attracted me to you so long ago was that you wanted a big family. I mean, I remember reading us talking. We wanted 10 kids at one point, and that's crazy to think in today's economy that anybody would have 10 kids. But we treasure.
I treasure. The Van Loons who have done it awesomely, by the way.
Yeah, the Van Loons are very good friends. The Van Loons are amazing family. But for me, you know, I do look at Scripture, and I do read it as, and you've shared this before, children are a blessing. And in one ways that I experience God's blessing is through our kids and the ability to have kids. You know, we were overjoyed when Brea came, even though she wasn't planned or expected. She came, and we were thrilled with that. And in many ways, I felt the same way this time. This wasn't something we were trying. Yeah. We weren't looking to get pregnant. We weren't timing the calendar so that we knew exactly when to do it. Right. It came at a time that we least expected. We were in the middle of a move. We're in the middle of starting a new job. Right. You know, the timing couldn't have been worse in many ways. Right. But yet, I saw it as a blessing from God, and so, you know, you think of blessed is the man whose quiver is full. Well, I didn't think my quiver was full, and then we heard that we were getting another one. We thought this is great, but now, you know, we're missing an arrow. Yeah. Yeah. And so for me, the way I process this is, you know, I'm the one that gets to get up and go to work every day. You know, I don't have to deal with a lot of the emotions that you do. Right. I get to go out of the house, and I get to be with people, and I get to do other things, and it kind of separates me from all of this. But I think the reality of it all is it's still very real. It's still something that's we're probably going to deal with for a while, just because it was a life. And I think with any loss of life, there is that mourning, and there is that time of grief, and I don't think it can be compartmentalized, or I don't think it can be like, you know, well, your body's okay, you should be able to jump back and be back in life, and that's not how it really is.
Right. And I had a good friend tell me, who's gone through this too, say, the next couple of weeks are going to be really hard. Like, you're going to be up and down. And I thought, I'll be fine,
Yeah.
you know, in my own prideful way. But yeah, that's exactly what it's like. And people call me or text me and say, how are you doing? And at that moment, I might be fine. But then it's like, could be 10 minutes later, I could just lose it. And yeah, so I don't know. It was funny because last night I was baking and cooking and just while they were watching the game.
You were like nesting or something last night. I couldn't figure out what you were
And
doing.
Logan came in, he's like, why are you baking all this stuff? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you're in the mood, aren't you? I'm like, yeah. So our almost 18-year-old is like very aware of the ups and downs of what's going on, and he's super awesome. But you know, I just thought, well, that's just how I'm dealing with it. I guess I needed to feel productive, and
Yeah.
the whole weekend I think was my motive of just like, let's get this done. I need to feel productive because I feel like, you know, it hasn't been productive.
Yeah. And so I think part of this is, we talk about the idea of loss and grief. I think there's you have to give yourself that time to grieve the loss, because it is a loss.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks, 3 weeks out, I think we're seeing more and more that we're not there yet.
Yeah.
And going forward, I think it's just gonna be a process. Like again, anytime there's a loss, you go through a season of mourning,
Right.
and it's not a day, it's not a week, it's not a month.
Right.
It's gonna take time
Right.
to get over that loss. And I think
And
that's
you
where
deal
we
with
are
all
now.
those emotions, especially as Christians. I feel like we deal with all those emotions because, you know, how are we dealing with it? Well, we are trying to go to Scripture, and that's hard for me at this point, which has never been hard
Right.
for me before. So that's something I'm struggling through. Like, just okay, get in the Word of God. Well, I'm kind of mad right now, you know,
Yeah.
like, so what does that mean? And I know God can handle it. I know He can handle my frustration. I know He's very aware, and I know that He is very much with me. So yeah, I just am not sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's the same. You struggle with that feeling of, where is God, and why is He doing this? And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna trust.
Yeah.
I'm
definitely have
gonna lean on the trust.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't
Yeah.
know why it's happening. I don't know why we have to go through this. I don't know why it's so hard, but I'm just gonna trust. I'm
Yeah.
gonna trust that His purpose and His plan is greater than what we see, and there'll be a time when we'll be able to see, and we'll understand it. But until then,
Yeah.
I
And
just
I
have to
had
trust.
moments where I trust.
Yeah.
But then I have other moments where I'm not, and that's just the reality of it.
Right.
Where I want control, and I guess that's what it is. I don't even know if,
I think it's just the human side of us.
Yeah.
We can get attached, and again, it's
Mhm.
life, and it was lost,
Mhm.
and it hurts,
Yeah.
and we don't know why, so that angers us and
Yeah.
causes us to want to know why.
yeah,
So that's where we kind of are in all of this. I wish we could say, boy, it was a loss and we moved on, but clearly that's not where we are.
I think that's my hardest thing though. Is I just want to deal with it and move on.
Yeah. And I thought that's what we were doing, and I don't think we can.
And that's how I handle life.
Yep.
Pretty much. Okay, that happened. Let's move on.
Yep.
You know, and this is not
No.
that easy.
No,
So.
it's not been that easy. So that's where we are. Our goal is to be transparent with you and to share the things that we're experiencing in life, as again we raise our own family, and this is just where we are, and we wanted to share that with you. So we hope that it has encouraged you maybe in some way to think that, hey, you're in the same boat someone else is in, and through all of this, our foundation is on who God is. And who God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And that doesn't change. And if we can put our faith and our trust in Him, He does see the end. He does know the bigger picture. And He understands even when we don't. And I think in the time of grief like this, the best thing we can do is hold on to those things. We are loved. We are cared for. We have a great big God who cares very deeply and intimately for even us, and we try to find joy in that. So thanks for watching today. Hopefully this has encouraged you. Again, if you've been in this spot, we'd love to learn from you. Maybe in the comments below, share a little bit of your story. Share how you have overcome grief like this. Maybe you can be a blessing, not just to us, but to someone else who reads it. Be sure to visit our family blog. We continue to share things that we're learning and experience on a day-to-day basis as Amy and I both share our stories. If you found this video helpful, would you thumb up on it to let us know that you appreciate it? And of course, subscribe, because we try to be here every Tuesday with a new topic that deals with family and marriage and living in faith. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.